everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and I am here today to right a wrong. This is a game that I have realized that we have not reviewed yet on the channel, an expansion actually, and it's sad, and I want to deeply apologize to finally get into it now. But this is a smash-up expansion, excellent movies, dude. This is like it's like a homage to all these 80s, 90s movies. I mean, obviously, I don't have to tell you that. As soon as you see the pictures, you're like, I get it, Joey, I get it. But anyway, if you have not played Smash Up, that whole full review is on the channel elsewhere. But this is going to take a look at what is in this deck. So let's take a look what's inside this box, dude. Okay, we are here looking at the Smash Up expansion. Excellent movies, dude. All right, this is not a full kind of playthrough on Smash Up. You can see that elsewhere on the channel. This is just kind of to show you what comes in this box. First off, you have the rule book. All the rules for a Smash Up, but you also have everything that is new in this. See, more rules and new rules. You got power counters, of course, those have been there before. Cards played off the top of the deck. Stasis, the stasis counters are going to be these right here. And it talks about being in stasis, and then also stored cards. So you can store cards as you place minions out there. And then you also have some game terms and restrictions. It kind of goes into terms that are used a lot. And then some clarifications. These right here I love because a lot of times, like Chess Breaker, all this, if you have a question about it, a lot of times they are here. That kind of shows the play testing that's gone into this. All right, so then also rules to remember, things that are easily forgotten. And on the back, you've got some basics. All right, anyway, so here's what it comes with. Backtimers. We can Back to the Future type of thing. Extramorphs, which is aliens. Wraith, rustlers, which is not Ghostbusters, and action heroes, which is kind of an homage to 80s and 90s action stars. All right, so all of these are like the dividers. If you have the bigger, geekier box and all that stuff, they do come with these. And this is before we sleeve ours and put it together. So let's first off show you what is in a lot of these here. First off, this is I forgot the names of these, action heroes right here. All right, so first off, we've got a lot of fives in this. In the action heroes. Look at that. So these are strong ones. Another thing this one does, like look here at Rumbro. Love that name, Rumbro. Ongoing, during your turn, if this is your only minion here, the breakpoint of this base is reduced by 4. That's pretty big, you know? So these guys are all about being big enough, strong enough to do it solo. Same with Command Bro here. All right, ongoing into your turn. If this is your only minion here, draw a card. Just having him out there gets you more cards in your hand. Kickbox Pro. All right, this has several on here. Ongoing at the end of your turn, you may store a card from your hand under this card. Talent, play an extra action stored under this card, or play an action stored under this card as an extra action. That's pretty cool to have that out there. It makes people want to defeat these guys to get those abilities away from you. And then a special, then you can also play the action again, or use that minion's talent there. So, all right, Robo Bro, this is pretty cool. After another player plays or moves the minion to here, you may place a +1 counter on this minion. He gets stronger. And then War Bro, right here. Talent, reduce the breakpoint of a different base where you have exactly 1 minion by 3 until the end of the turn. So you can combo this over here, you know, to really lower the breakpoint for a lot of these bases. So these guys are all about going solo. Love the names, all out of bubblegum. All right, get to the chopper. Move one of your minions from one base to another. All right, slow-mo attack. These are actions here. Final stand. Look at this special play. Before base scores, we have exactly 1 minion. Destroy minion, printed power 3 or less there, controlled by another player. Hostage rescue. You can search your deck for a minion, put it on top of your deck. Look at this. Walk away slowly. Special, play after a base scores, return one of your minions there to its owner's hand. All right, Lone Wolf. And then you've got Friends to Eternity, discard a card to play 2 actions. Pushing the limit. The right person, play an extra minion on a base. We have no minions, play an extra action. Collateral damage. Look at that. First of all, look at that picture. It's great. Reduce the breakpoint of a base by 5 until the end of the turn, which is awesome. And that is an action too, by the way. So you can really bring down those breakpoints of bases. All right, so now we've got the Back to the Future one, or Backtimers. You've got Sideline Girlfriend. Everybody remembers that part. There's a sticker in there. This is interesting. Minion. You may place a stasis counter on this card. Special, after a stasis counter is removed from this card, you may place a +1 counter on one of your minions on a base. When you play this card from stasis, play it as an extra minion and place a +1 counter on it. So these guys go in stasis, but those stasis cards will help you get different abilities and more power to other cards. More the Silen's Girlfriend, that's a lot of those. Lifelong Bully. Add a stasis counter to one of your cards in stasis, so you can keep adding them to something like this. Or look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may place 2 stasis counters on one of them and return the rest in any order. All right, so we've got those. Zany Professor. At the start of your turn, you may remove a stasis counter from or add one to one of your cards in stasis. Again, a lot of stasis things with these. 5. Alex B. McGlide. You may place two stasis counters on a card from your hand, and your talent here, which you can use every time if you want. If a card has had its last stasis counter removed this turn, you may place a +1 counter on one of your minions. So this really bulks up a lot of stuff here. All right, little action, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 2 stasis counters on one of them and return the rest in any order. This is a big thing on this as well, being able to see the future of a lot of your deck. So this is cool to combine to something. 99 miles an hour, place 2 stasis counters on a card from your hand and you draw a card. Future Almanac. Lightning Strike. Okay, Lightning Strike, this has a lot of text on here. All right, place 2 stasis counters on this card. When you remove the stasis counters from other cards, you may place them on this card. Why? Well, on your turn, you may use an action play to reduce the breakpoint of a base by 1 for each stasis counter on this card up to 5. So until the end of the until the end of the turn, and then discard the card. So this again is a way to lower those breakpoints. All right. What we have to do, help from the past. This right here, when it enters stasis, you can store a card from your discard pile underneath it and kind of then bring it back. All right, letter from another time, does something similar here. Place 3 stasis counters on the card. When this card enters stasis, search your deck for a card, store it underneath there. When you play this card from stasis, discard it, and you may play a card stored under it as an extra card. All right, so those are a lot of the Back to the Future ones, or Backtimers. All right, and then finally, we're going to go, well, not finally, we're going to go to the alien one. All right, Chest Breaker. This right here, talent. If this minion was on a base at the start of your turn, place it on the bottom of your deck to choose power 3 or 4 and play an extra minion off the of that power from the top of the deck. So you choose 3 or 4 and then you keep flipping until you see a minion of that strength. So these guys are small, only worth 2, but they really kind of bulk up. All right, Extra Drone. You may move another player's minion of 3 or less here to another base. If you do, you may move this minion to that base. If this minion was played off the top of the deck, place a +1 power counter on it. So again, those kind of springboard off of these chest bursters. All right, same with this alien life form. You may destroy a minion of 3 or less here. If that minion is played off the top of the deck, place 2 +1 counters on it. Talent, remove a +1 counter from this minion to move it to another base. So this kind of strengthens up everything else. Hive Queen, which is a 5. Sorry to bump the camera there. You may search your deck or discard pile for an egg field and draw it. And you have a talent here until the start of your next turn. Other players' minions at bases where you have an egg field have -1 power. So it's pretty cool to get those egg fields out there, which are right here. All right, Distress Call, move a minion to another base. So these actions, all right. The Head Grabber, play on a minion of power 3 or less. If this is on your minion, or if it was on your minion at the start of the turn, destroy this minion to choose a power less than 4 and play an extra minion of that power off the top of your deck here. All right, so you can kind of replace things. They kind of level up. Game over, dude. Choose a base at a power less than 5, play an extra minion on it. Time to go. All right, this one I like. Nuke it from orbit. Play on a base. The talent is, if this card was on the base at the start of your turn, destroy this base and all other cards on it. Replace it normally and place this card in the box. So you get to use it once. Nuke it from orbit. Egg field we talked about. 5x5, draw 5 cards and place 5 cards from your hand on top of your deck in any order. And Close Encounters. Draw a card. You may place a card from your hand on top of your deck. Play as an extra action. All right, so that's that one. And then finally, let's go over here to what they call it here, actually, Wraith Rustlers. Okay, Wraith, rustlers. All right, Watson. You may destroy one of your actions on this base or reveal cards from the top of your deck until you remove a Wraith, draw it, and shuffle into the other deck. Now, the Wraith are going to be ghosts. They're going to go around to different bases, and these guys are going to go try to get rid of them and get benefits from that. So we've got Watson here, which is going to go try to find some Wraiths. You've got Roy, who tries to destroy him. You may transfer one of your actions from another base to here. Ongoing, if a Wraith has been destroyed here this turn, this minion has +2 powers. So they have to kind of do their job out there. We got Ellen. Destroy one of your actions on this base to reduce this breakpoint by 3 to the end of the turn. If a Wraith is destroyed, you may play an extra action. All right, Funkman. If you destroy an action, give each of your minions on its base +1 power to the end of the turn or draw a card. Special, before a base scores, you may transfer an action to another base. All right, so then we got, check out Slimy here. Now we're getting to the Wraiths. Play on a base, ongoing. If this base's breakpoint is increased by 3 after this card is destroyed, each of your minions here gains +2 power until the end of the turn. So you do destroy these guys. Every time you destroy a Wraith, something good happens to you. For example, this library here. Play on a base. Ongoing, the base's breakpoint is increased by 3. However, after it's destroyed, you get to draw 3 cards. Demon Dogs. Play on a base. You may store a minion of power of 3 or less from your hand or discard pile underneath it. Again, increase the breakpoint by 3. After destroyed, you may place a minion stored underneath there as an extra minion. So you can put these onto other bases that people are about to score. All right, and then you can kind of prohibit that. Again, action Wraith, play on the base, talent, store another action under the discard pile. From your discard pile, that can be played on the base under this card. All right, so that's what these do here. Actions, tools, and the talent. Search your deck for a card, place on top of your deck. Resurgent, choose an action on a base, destroy it, or transfer it to another base. You may play this before a base scores. I do like those. All right, here we go. Unlicensed Nuclear Accelerator. Play on a minion. Ongoing, this minion has +2 power. Talent, destroy one of your actions on this base to place a +1 counter on the minion. Then you have Ectoplasm 1. All right, so now let's take a look at the bases here. The bases here, we've got Jungle Camp. And then different abilities here. The abilities don't really stand out. Those are always just fun. The winner may return one of their minions to their hand. Then you've got some here. Time Traveling Car. The winner may place 2 stasis tokens on one of their cards here. All right, Alternate Present. After the first time you play a minion here each turn, you may place 2 stasis counters on a card from your hand. Alien Crash Ship. You've got the Brood Hive, busting to 22. Before this base scores, starting with the player to the current player's left, each player with a minion here may play an extra minion off of their deck here. So you keep adding things to that. All right, so these right here, you got Rooftop Portal again at a 22. Once per turn, after you destroy a card here, you get to draw a card. So these, again, do kind of have a synergy with the decks that are in here. But, okay, so that is pretty much a quick look at what is in Excellent Movies, dude. Let's send it back and see what I thought about it.
Okay, so that was a bit of more of a deep dive into these cards than I anticipated doing, but really, Smash Up is all about the cards and mixing them together. The big thing about me is I still love Smash Up because you get to mix 2 things. Like when an expansion like this comes out and you get to play it, you're not just excited about playing this expansion, you're excited about mixing this with everything else and finding that synergy between them. So all of these are all really good. Everything plays different in this set, which I do love that they do in majority of expansions. They do everything differently. Like, for example, the action heroes, I've got those in my hand right here. These are made to be OP, overpowered. You know, all of these are all like, I can do it myself. They're one-time armies. They're going to be put on there, and they can really, they're powerful on their own. They have some 5s on there, but they're about lowering that break point of those bases. So you can't really combine those. But what's cool is when someone else sees it out there, that breakpoint lowers for everybody. So you can all of a sudden jump out there and they're going to be in the mix even if they don't win it all together. So that's a very interesting one to go. And of course, the artwork on these is fantastic. And then you've got the Backtimers. These guys right here, they're all about building powers with stasis, right? It starts off with one of the most bizarre things from Back to the Future 2, where they just stuck the girlfriend there and she slept the entire movie. So I was like,
Okay, a little bit weird, but okay. So that was very interesting. But they've got that, and these kind of have a combo, which when you play those stasis tokens, you're going to kind of feed onto them and then remove them and start getting +1. So this is more of a power build than the action heroes are. So it's more of a slow roll. So you want to combine this with something that's stronger out of the gate, and then you're going to really, really start to stack up as long as those bases stay out there long enough for you to do that. So those are really neat. Then you've got the Extramorphs right over here. And these, as soon as you see the artwork on these, you can just tell it's alien style, right? So, of course, you start with the chest burster, which, of course, we all know that's from. These do great. They cycle better and more cards out. They're about kind of morphing these into something else. So, again, if you synergize these with stronger minions, another faction that has stronger minions, you can bring them in, and they kind of cycle out. They really help the deck and help everything you do more than I anticipated an alien-style faction doing. And this Nuke from Orbit, I'm telling you, it's just fun because there are different ones out there that can remove an action on a base. So you're going to want to do that because once that gets played, it's got to go around, and then later that base is just going to go, right? So you have people clamoring to either win that or to pull their minions and actions away because that thing's about to get blown up, right? So anything like that that adds that fun element to the cards, to the game, I just really love. And then finally, you've got Wraith Busters. Or Bustlers. I don't know. Wraith Busters. Whatever it is. Hustlers, I think is what it is. Anyway, so these guys are really fun. The ghost is going to move around and he's going to cause havoc. So instead of decreasing the breakpoint, going to increase that breakpoint. And they're all going to go up. And then it's funny because these guys, they're going to come in and destroy these wraiths. And they're going to get a benefit. It's kind of like they get credit for solving a problem that they created, which is a very interesting thing with these. So these guys, again, the artwork on here is great. The tongue-in-cheek nod to all this is fantastic. You've got Funkman, Slimy, of course. It's Librarian Haunt, which is one of the best parts from the Ghostbusters movie. No, because there's so many best parts of that. It's a great movie, great film. All right, then Tools and Talent, Resurgence. All of these are wonderful. Again, the bases are fine. For me, the bases can add some variability, but it's all about these different factions. And this one does it. I like the stasis tokens. I like what those add a little bit different. None of these seem overpowered on their own. Even with the action heroes, which at first I thought, man, that's a lot. To be worth 5, then lowering that breakpoint, that's big. But it's still hard to come in first when you only have one guy out there. So you have to kind of piggyback that onto something else. So again, these are really fun to take these and mix with another faction to get some really funny names out there. Anyway, this expansion is great. If you like Smash Up, you know what it is. I'm giving this actually an 8.5 on this. So I really, really enjoy this because I am such a 80s movie nerd. Let's just be honest. I love 80s movies, and the fact this exists, it just makes me happy. Because this is all I wanted in life, is I wanted to have my 80s movies in Smash Up. I never knew I wanted that, but now I have it. Little tear in my eye. Can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah, in 4K you can see it. Anyway, so if you have Smash Up, if you love 80s movies, this is definitely one to check out. And I'm sorry we're just getting to it now. I deeply apologize, but we did it. We have more Smash Up too. I'm going to catch up on that stuff. I'm Joey Evans, and I'm going to go Smash Up.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.